What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be answering an age-old question. Does cardio kill your muscle gains? Short answer is no. Now, this is something that people ask me all the time, especially those who are looking to improve their body composition. It is a very big misconception that cardio is going to destroy your gains, okay? It is simply just not true. Now, there are many things that can influence this answer, and depending on your specific goal, you would want to do something different than the norm. First things first, I do want to mention that cardio itself is extremely beneficial for your health, okay? For your heart health, your cardiovascular health. You do not want to skip cardio just because you think that you're going to gain a little bit more muscle and then lose out on the health benefits of what cardio has to offer, okay? It is not worth it in the long run. You will still gain a lot of muscle even if you do your cardio. And there are actually new studies that suggest cardio can actually improve your muscle gains. There's one study from a few years ago that states that cardio itself can help to improve your mitochondrial density, which in turn is going to help with manufacturing ATP. And given that you are training correctly, when you're able to manufacture more ATP, this is going to mean more energy, more strength, and potentially increase your muscle mass. So when you look at everything, you really don't have a reason as to why you shouldn't be doing your cardio. Now, I want to dive a little bit deeper into this topic and talk about the different timings of when you should do cardio in order to maximize your gains, both in your cardiovascular health and your muscle gains. And I also want to talk about the different types of cardio and which ones may be better for your specific goals, and then other mistakes that you should avoid. So let's get right to it. One thing that is extremely important and will influence your gains is going to be the timing of when you do your cardio. Now, if your main goal is to improve your strength, muscle mass, or power, then I would recommend doing your cardio on a separate day from the day that you're doing your lifts, or many hours after you do your lifts. For example, you lift in the morning, about 6 hours later, you go back to the gym or wherever you need to be and you do your cardio. This is going to be beneficial because whatever you put your focus on first is going to take some precedence. If you're doing your cardio before your lifts, you're not going to be able to have as much energy. You're not going to be able to push as much when it does come to those lifts. So you want to make sure that the thing that you want to improve most needs to be done first. Now, if you need to do your cardio directly after your lifts in that same session, that's not a huge problem. But just understand that you may not see as much results with your cardiovascular gains or your muscle gains because your body's going to be under a little bit of fatigue and you're not going to be able to push as hard. You can also do your cardio before your lifts if you're treating it as a low intensity type of warm-up. This can be beneficial because it gets your body primed and ready. But if you're breaking a huge sweat and you're literally fatiguing yourself, then it will impact your lifts and you will not see as much gains in terms of your strength, power, or your muscle mass. What most people do is they'll do a separate session for their cardio. And this is very typical, especially amongst bodybuilders. A lot of them will do their cardio maybe first thing in the morning, even fasted, and then hours later head back to the gym for their main lifts. You can also switch the two, just like I mentioned, or just do it on completely separate days from your lifts. You will not lose your gains if you follow that protocol. And this really is going to come down to your goal. Like I mentioned, if your main goal is improving strength, muscle mass, or your power, let that be the focus, okay? I just need to reiterate that. Let that be the focus, and the cardio is going to be secondary. Now, there are so many different types of cardio, but the most popular forms typically fall under low intensity steady state cardio and high intensity interval training. These are both very beneficial, but again, depending on your specific goal, it can be better for you to do one versus the other. When it comes to building strength, we need to look at everything else that goes into building strength. that typically involves a lot of high intense training in the weight room, whether it's hypertrophy based with tons of volume. And what comes with that is needing to eat a lot of calories. So if you're already doing that type of training and you're adding in some high intensity interval training, you're going to be burning even more calories, which means you're going to need to eat even more food just to build some muscle. So that being said, it may not be that beneficial for you to do some high intensity interval training if your main goal is to build muscle, simply because you're going to be burning way too many calories, you're going to have to eat way more food, and it's going to be even more impact on the body. So I would opt for a low intensity steady state if your main goal is to build more muscle. That way you're not going to burn as many calories, but you're still getting all the benefits of what cardio has to offer. And this is going to allow you to actually recover better if you're doing something low intensity like a light jog, elliptical, a bike ride, swimming. This is going to promote more blood flow and circulation into the body, going to help you recover from those intense gym sessions, and you're going to be able to come back to the gym and hit it even harder, which in turn will lead to more gains. So if your main goal is to build some muscle, then I would opt for the low intensity steady state over something high intensity. But if your main goal isn't strictly muscle gains and you like the high intensity because it does have other benefits too, then you can totally opt for that. Me personally, I do a mixture of both. I do a lot of sprint intervals, which are very high intensity. Those have even more adaptations than just the general high intensity training. So again, this all comes down to your specific goal, but just as a general rule, you want to opt for the thing that isn't going to force you to have to eat so much and isn't going to burn so many of your calories. And the last thing that I want to talk about that is a huge mistake I see so many people make is overdoing the cardio. Now, for most people, you're just going to need about 3 days of 30 minutes of some low intensity steady state cardio, and you're going to see the benefits of what cardio has to offer. But if you're somebody who needs to lose some fat, then of course you might need a little bit more, along with you restricting calories from your diet. But just for the general, you're not going to need more than 3 days of 30 minutes. The biggest issue I see these days, people are doing cardio every single day for an hour. They're going intense and they're still lifting in the gym trying to gain muscle. And then they question, cardio is killing my gains. Of course it is. You're burning way too many calories. And unless you've got your diet on 100% lock, or you're eating just some horrible junk food, it's going to be very difficult for you to even get all the calories you need in order to gain some muscle, or even to maintain for that fact. So if you're doing all of that burning, of course you're going to lose some gains, all right? You're going to disappear, all right? It's going to be way too hard to sustain. Now, if you're like a marathon runner, for example, then of course you're going to need to be running all that much, and that's going to be your focus. That's completely different. But we're talking about gaining muscle here. So just keep that in mind when you're doing your cardio. And it's not just running, by the way, or it's not just you on the elliptical machine or on the bike. This also includes you playing pickup basketball or soccer, football, or doing some low intensity sport. All of this can be considered as cardio, and it will affect your muscle gains if you are doing too much of it. So in conclusion, cardio does not kill your gains, and when done properly, it will have some amazing health benefits and can even help you when it comes to building muscle. The biggest things that you need to focus on are the timing of when you're doing your cardio, the type of cardio you're doing, and having a nice balance between your overall training program. If you're somebody who's looking for a customized program or some one-on-one online coaching, I am now accepting new clients where I'll help you build the perfect program and help make the adjustments needed so that you can reach every single goal that you set out for. If you're interested, go ahead and click the link in my bio. Spots are very limited, so act quickly. There you have it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and share it with everybody else you think can benefit. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section down below, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of my future content. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you guys soon.